Alright, yo, what's up guys, it's me, Shadow. Real quick before the video starts, I'm going to put these serum banks that I used for this melody up on the screen. You guys can feel free to pause the video and take a look. Also, before we get into this video, I'm going to try to keep this intro short because I do a lot of talking in this video. I only ended up making the actual loop for this beat off of my friend's MIDI, so, I didn't have too much to break down in this video. Last thing I want to talk about on this video, guys, is I'm currently in the process of completely redoing my entire room and I guess like finishing my home studio. I kind of already have, like speakers, headphones, mic, monitors, like stuff like that. But I'm going to basically clean it up, make it more professional, and I'll be vlogging the entire process of redoing my room. And once it's done, I will post that video, and that will also be the introduction to Facecam on this channel. You guys can hopefully expect that to be done in the next month, maybe like 2 months at the most. But I'm very excited for it because I've been wanting to do Facecam and stuff like that to take this channel way more professionally. And yeah, guys, last thing, I'm going to plug my Instagram. That's where I'm most active on social media and where you can most easily reach me. I'm going to plug my Type Beat channel. That's where all my beats go. And I'm going to plug my Beat Stars. That's where all my beats go. That's where I post drum kits, serum banks, stuff like that. I actually used my serum bank for some of the sounds in this beat. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day or night. Peace. Alright, yo, what's up guys, it's me, Shadow, back again with another tutorial video. This week I am very happy to say that I will be breaking down how I got a young FAZO placement. If you guys don't already know, the song is called Bands Up and it was produced by me, my friend Mimo, and my friend Nevo You Trippin', or Nevo for short. As you can see, this song was not posted on like Young FAZO's official SoundCloud or Spotify or anything like that. This song was reposted by DJ Obi1 on this Plugin B account. It is basically like a underground like A&R account or like repost page where it just has like a ton of, exclusive songs by like Cash Dami, Baby Santana, Chulu, people like that. So basically, that is where that song ended up if you guys are wondering why you haven't heard it. But nonetheless, this is a Young FAZO placement and you guys already heard the song in the intro, so I'm not going to play the song again. In this video, I'm going to explain to you what part I played in the actual placement, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to explain to you guys how this placement came to be, basically the steps that led up to me getting this placement. I feel like a lot of artists don't really talk about how they get placements, like the story behind a placement. I feel like the stories behind a placement are arguably like the most important part. Every path to each different placement that you get is always different, and I feel like a lot of people think there's a formula to it, and there's really not. So to hopefully put you guys in the right direction to start getting placements, and just for some inspiration so you guys can see how I ended up getting this placement, at the end of this video I'm going to break down the steps that went into that. And yeah guys, without further ado, let's just hop right into this video. Starting off, basically the part that I played in this placement was the melody. As you guys saw earlier, the two other producers on this song were Nevo You Trippin' and my friend Mimo. Nevo You Trippin' sent me the MIDI and then I finished the loop off and sent it to Mimo, and then there you go, that was the placement. So that is the role that I played in this beat. You're probably looking at your screen right now and wondering where everything is, but that's it. That's all that went into this loop. You guys would really be surprised about like what gets placed, what doesn't, what goes into placements. This probably took me like 10 to 15 minutes to make, and now I'm here. So obviously put time into your craft, but I mean, it's not always as important as you think. Sounds that I used for this melody is the synth monotone in the default synth packs of Serum. Ignore my super messy Serum. But yeah, basically this synth sounds like this. Then I use this distant lead from the Adapt Serum Bank. It sounds like this. And then lastly, guys, I used the wonky lead from my first ever Serum Bank. This is actually really funny. I cooked up this loop maybe a week or two after I made my first ever Serum Bank. This was my introduction to sound design, and the main lead in this melody is my lead that I created, which is pretty cool. This is what it sounds like. As you can hear, it's very like, I don't know, like vocal and kind of like liquidy or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, guys, these are the sounds that I used for this melody. As you can see, it's literally just 3 sounds. Placements are not always about making the most complex melodies. I'd argue it's the opposite, honestly. I'd say the simpler and more straight to the point the melody is, the more likely you are to get it placed. If you guys want to take a look real quick, this was the original MIDI that my friend Nevo sent me. At least I'm pretty sure this was the original MIDI because this is unaltered. Take a look real quick. This chord progression really lends itself to yeet type beats with the fifth chords. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe these are fifth chords where the spaces are 6 and 4, just, you know, repeating like that. The bass line, and then there's this little counter melody up here, which is very plucky, and as you can see, it has these little, like, I don't know, like rolls up on the piano note. Not really sure what you would call that, but yeah, this is the original MIDI, guys. Basically, guys, the first thing I do whenever I receive MIDIs is I take the chord progression out of the MIDI and I paste it into a different pattern and just make a chord progression. So this is the chord progression that I made for this loop. As you can hear, guys, putting that weird lead sound into a chord progression really turned it into this weird, like, distorted trumpet sounding thing. It really does not sound like, you know, a chord progression anymore where you can, like, pick out each individual note that goes into it. You know, it really sounds like its own individual sound. So yeah, that is what ended up being the first sound in this beat. I don't know what I was on this day where I decided that this weird, crazy, distorted trumpet sound was what I wanted to do, but I need to start doing stuff like this more often because as you guys can hear, the more unique and experimental stuff that you do, the more likely you are to get it placed. I'm very happy that something like this got placed because, at least to myself personally, it doesn't sound like something you hear often. Like, I don't think you're gonna listen to this loop and be like, oh yeah, man, Drake, or, you know, like, I don't think that this is really, I think this is kind of in its own lane, so that's pretty cool. Then, guys, this is the next pattern we have. It's gonna sound like this. Not too much to really say about this. This was just, you know, part of the original MIDI. I kind of took it and used it as this weird, like, I don't know, it kind of sounds like a bird chirp or like a weird delayed pluck or something like that. It's a lead, but I didn't really use it in that way. So, yeah, that is the second part to this melody. And then lastly, guys, we have the main lead, and this is what it's going to sound like. Essentially, it is just this pattern here, and then I paste it over and raise it down, and no, I don't raise it down. I've made this mistake before. I lower it an octave. I lowered it an octave, and this is something I very commonly do in my loops. I basically will take whatever melody I have, and I will repeat it and, you know, raise it up an octave, lower it down an octave, something like that. So that's basically what I did here. And yeah, guys, I mean, this video is kind of going to be shorter, I'm guessing. I'm not completely sure, but altogether, this is what the melody that me and Nevo ended up making sounds like. So yeah, you know, some pretty cool stuff right there. But for the fun of this video, guys, even though I didn't do the drums, I tried my best to recreate it. I probably should have just asked Mimo personally what he did with the drums, but instead I decided to just try to do it myself. Obviously, there's probably more that went into it than just this, but maybe there isn't. I know the 808 switches up like once or twice during the beat, but at its core, these are what the drums are going to sound like. Starting off, we have the hi-hat and clap. Basically just a two-step pattern with these little, you know, like repeating like horse trot hi-hat notes. I don't know, you know, like the yeet horse trot stuff. And then lastly, we have the 808, which is going to sound like this. Now, I'm pretty sure this is not the exact 808 that ended up in the final beat, but I mean, I just tried to make something sort of similar. Basically just a spins 808 with the out knob turned way up and, you know, a little bit of boosting and EQing messed around. I also added a fruity fast distortion, and altogether, this is what my little remake of the beat is going to sound like. So yeah, basically, guys, this was just like a little like for fun thing, not to be taken too seriously. This is just a like semi-accurate recreation of what the drums would have sounded in the beat, in case you guys wanted that insight. And now that that is over, guys, I'm going to explain step by step how this placement came to be. I wouldn't say this is like a funny story, but it's a really interesting story because a lot of it was really up to chance and just like super random occurrences. So to start off, I think the craziest part about this melody is this was maybe the 7th or 8th melody I ever made to send out. out. Obviously, I have experience making melodies for my own beats and stuff like that. About like 2 to 3 months ago, I decided I was going to start consistently sending out melodies to like, all my friends and my connections and anyone who really wants them, basically, because I wanted to start getting more sales and more placements with my loops. So I was determined to be very consistent with it and send loops out every week. And, ever since that point, I have been able to do that. So yeah, just to reiterate, this was like one of the first melodies I ended up making to send out ever. And that is pretty cool to me. Like I said earlier in the video, I got the MIDI from my friend Nevo. I don't remember exactly how we got tapped in, but I'm pretty sure it was through like a mutual producer friend. But basically, Nevo was a super new person to me, and he basically just sent me MIDIs because, I wanted to get some collab loops in. I don't remember if he offered to send me them or if I asked him for them, but regardless, I opened his pack and I took his MIDIs and I made some loops to it. Another funny thing, I've only ever sent out 2 loops with Nevo, and both of them have gotten placed. The first one got this FAZO placement, and then the second one got a Kuru placement. So I use Nevo's MIDI, I make this loop, and then I basically just put it into the very first pack of loops that I ever sent out for my weeklies. Nothing really happened with it for a while, honestly. I just remained consistent and I was sending loops out, and I'm pretty sure this placement didn't come into play until at least a month after. It might have been a little bit more, a little bit less, but I'm pretty sure it was around a month after that I was talking to my friend Mimo. If you guys don't know, is a very talented producer. He does melodies, he does drums, he does all of it. But basically, Mimo recently came in contact with young FAZO through Discord, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember exactly how Mimo got in touch, but regardless, Mimo was tapped in with young FAZO, and he had gotten FAZO on, I think, at least one of his beats before this. But either way, I think I was talking to Mimo, or he put on his story that he needed loops for FAZO or something. So I hit him up and I was like, did you check my packs? And he basically told me to send him individual loops because, he had so many people hitting him up, obviously, because he had a FAZO connect. I went through the loops that I had at the time, which again were only like 40 loops because I was only doing 10 a week for the first month. I basically sent him maybe like 5 to 10 loops, like what I thought were the best. Mimo basically told me he was going to use this loop, and it was very soon after that Mimo texted me a video of FAZO recording and showing the song off in a Discord call, and I was like so hyped out of my mind, dude. That was I'm pretty sure this was my first placement, like big placement ever. I've gotten like some people here and there on my beats. I've gotten some songs with lots of plays or whatever, but this was my first time actually pursuing placements and getting them. Any other placements I've gotten in the past were not really intentional, and it was through people finding my YouTube beats. So this was a very huge moment in my career, honestly. I was so hyped about that, and I basically had to sit and not do anything for a while, and the song didn't end up releasing until maybe like a month or 2 later. I was obviously hoping this song would either end up as a single or an album song, on FAZO's account, but regardless, I'm too hyped on the fact that it's actually released to really care. A placement is a placement. And yeah, guys, that is the story of how I got this young FAZO placement. My best advice for chasing placements is to make a loop list, get tapped in with your friends, always be sending melodies out. Drums is definitely not the way to go for placements. Although you can do it, you need direct artist connects, and that is the hardest part about getting a placement, is getting connected directly to artists. My advice, guys, is to please just start a loop list, because I started consistently making melodies about 2 to 3 months back, and like I said already, I have about 2 to 3 placements just from those couple months. Being multifaceted as a producer is super important. Doing drums and loops is going to catapult your career so much more than you can imagine, because you just have so many more opportunities, and you could do everything. You could do the melodies, you can do the drums, you can do basically anything that you need to do. And yeah, guys, I guess that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you watched this all the way to the end, thank you so much. I really do appreciate all you guys who watch my videos to the end. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't, don't. Remember to hit the subscribe button. I post videos twice a week covering underground and up-and-coming artists, challenge content, entertainment videos, and more. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day or night. Peace.